Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. What have y'all gotten done, do you think, on the passing game this week that you needed to shore up or get straightened out or readdress?
Yeah, we just couple things. I mean, everybody took their turn, of course, in the game, and it's just one of those things you got to keep working on. It's about timing. It's about spacing. And continue to work. We got good guys. They work really hard, and we come out here, and that's one of the things that we try to do is just get better each and every week. And last week we just wasn't acceptable. We weren't clicking all the way, and we got to be better. There's no question.
About it, everyone took their turn. You mean everyone took their turn in the blame part
of
it?
No, it's not necessarily blame as much as just execution at times. Just different things took place in the course of a play that sometimes caused the play to be unsuccessful.
Tim, coming off of a game like that where you guys wanted to maybe play a little bit better than you did in the passing game, what have you seen on film from Wisconsin? It might be your first real defensive test this year because Oklahoma hasn't really been playing that well defensively.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin's very talented defensively, very good team, have a good scheme, well coached, and they play really hard. So it's going to be a challenge for our guys. I think they're up to it. Every game's that way. You're still dealing with young players that go out there and they try really hard. And that's the key to us right now is just continuing to get better, to keep grinding away, and just be better than you were the play before and be better than you were the week before. And we obviously have to do that this week.
Tim, when we talked to JT on Monday, he said the ball came out fine. He was still confident. When you guys looked at it, did you see any mechanical or fundamental issues in that game that had your attention?
Nothing really technique-wise. Just getting some depth, maybe a little bit on his part, but for the most part, no. It's one of those things,
Tim, a couple of your players have said that the pass game this week in practice has had a little extra pepper to it.
Yeah.
That the guys feel it and maybe there's a chip on their shoulder. Do you see that?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, again, it's a young team, and you have to maintain a high level, and you have to continue to do that. And sometimes when you have young players, it's always hard to maintain that focus, maintain that sense of urgency that you have to do. And sometimes it takes getting slapped in the face a little bit to wake it back up and be like, okay, we got to go out and continue, and coaches as well. So we had been doing very successful up until that point, and brought us back down to earth for sure.
In that pursuit, does it help having a veteran quarterback who understands that things weren't great, but he has a calm about him, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, it does. And ultimately, the great thing about JT, when you describe him, everybody always describes him as a winner, and that's what's important to him. He wants to win. And if he's 9 of 21 or he throws 7 touchdowns, it really doesn't matter as long as we get that W and move on to the next game for him. But I think he's also smart enough to realize we need that element of the game to be able to keep moving on. So, and he's done a great job this week with our younger players to be able to stress the importance of it.
Have you kind of got a sense from him with his performance on Saturday that he was kind of upset?
No doubt. I mean, he's an elite player and demands perfection as I do. I mean, not just of him, but of myself. And so those games, they bother you. They irk you just because you feel like, I know you could say, hey, you won by 21, this, and that. I know that's true, but the goal is really to play the best that you can play. It's not, and we feel like if we could do that, we'll be on the upside more than the downside. So that's our goal. Just every week, just play your best and do your best, coach your best, do all those types of things. So that's what we're shooting for this week.
Come off a week that you're facing a top 5 defense, though. What's it like to come off of a game that, for him, that he probably feels like he could have and should have played better, and now facing a top 5 D?
Yeah. You could probably ask him that, but I just think for us, for me personally, it wakes you up. Like I said, you got to come and be ready to go for this game.
Tim, is Paris Campbell on the rise? How would you describe him? I mean, what have you seen from day one of camp to now? How far has he come, I guess, as just a
You love him. He just works so hard and never says boo, just comes out and does his job, and very talented guy, and his confidence has grown and you can see that he's
Does-
become a big playmaker.
Does
for
he
us.
look like a real receiver now running around?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
what do you see on video when you watch that?
Absolutely, he's fast, gets in and out of cuts, goes up and gets the football. I know JT's got a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah.
Tim, it's maybe a silly question, but have your quarterbacks, your scout team quarterbacks, been asked to do anything different this week to help the defense get ready for a left-handed quarterback?
You know, I don't know that, to be honest with you. I'm not sure.
Tim,
How
you were here
important
2
is-
years ago? What was your reaction when you watched that 59-0 game?
I remember watching the game. I thought there were some big plays in the game, and I thought Ohio State was probably the best team in the country at that time. They were playing really well and really were clicking towards the end of the year.
I mean, you came obviously right after that. I mean, not that one game is going to make you decide to come here or not. I mean, but just the idea that, okay, we're talking about a real national championship that was
Yeah.
created by that game. How much input or impact has that game and what it propelled you think has lingered since then?
Well, you know, on our end, we know that they have new coaches there and new coordinators and some new people involved, new players involved. So, you know, maybe use it as a reference point, but it's a new time, you know, and so it's different. We're preparing real hard for what we see on tape and going from there.
How important is establishing the running game to open things up in the passing game and to make it easier on JT?
I think both. I mean, I think we got to help the running game with the passing game, and once that starts happening, then they stop the run game, which helps the passing game. So I think the two go hand in hand, obviously, and you know, I think we got a good plan. We've worked hard this week.
Will you need the passing game? I mean, last week you guys got down the ground.
Absolutely, we need it. I think from here on out, I mean, you really have to have it in every game. You know, stay on the field. That's going to be the key, and make big plays when you have the chance to make them. When you have those chances to make those plays, you got to make them, and stay on the field on third downs.
Great. Coach, thank you very
Next
much.
question.